Welcome to today's Explainer. We're taking a slightly different path today. We aren't just looking at data or surface-level trends. Instead, we're stripping away all the filters for a raw, unfiltered reality check. We're exploring the source material behind what it truly takes to win in life. Think about the most successful people you know, or the greatest achievements in human history. From the outside, the end result always looks loud, glamorous, and sudden. But today, we're going to explore the blueprint of that victory, what we're calling the silent architecture of success. I really want you to lock in with me here because the concepts we're pulling from this material aren't for the faint of heart. They're meant to shake up our perspective and force us to look at our own daily habits. So, I gotta start by asking you a really fundamental question. Are you truly ready for what success actually takes? I mean, it sounds like a rhetorical question, right? If you ask 100 people on the street if they want to be successful, 100 people will say absolutely yes. Everyone wants to win. Everyone wants the financial freedom, the respect, the physical health, and the mastery of their craft. But wanting the prize is completely different from wanting the process. As our source material points out, the desire for success is universal, but the actual gritty preparation for it, it's incredibly rare. You might think you're ready, but let's see what you're actually signing up for.
You see the contrast every single day. There's the social media illusion, the private jets, the overnight millions, the perfectly edited highlight reels, all that relentless, hyped-up motivation, and the promise of shortcuts. It's what you're fed every single day on your feeds. But then there's the stark truth, the silent reality. Real success doesn't look like an action movie. It looks like a dimly lit room at 4 a.m. It looks like reading a book while everyone else is out at the bar. It looks like doing the exact same boring task for the 500th time. Our source material makes this distinction perfectly clear. Success is something much, much harder than what the algorithm shows you.
When we look closely at the source material, we really have to dismantle the common excuses people use when they look at winners. The fast success myth is usually boiled down to 3 words: talent, luck, and timing. How many times have you heard someone say, "Oh, they're just naturally gifted," or "they just got lucky," or "they were just in the right place at the right time"? Actually, scratch that. It's not even an excuse. It's a defense mechanism. They're stories the average mind tells itself to avoid feeling bad about not putting in the work. While talent and timing can provide a spark, they absolutely do not build the house. Winning isn't about being magically anointed by the universe.
And that brings us to this incredibly powerful quote from our material. Success is built in silence. I want you to just sit with that for a second. Success is built in silence. The deepest, most permanent progress happens during the slow, unexciting, and downright painful moments when absolutely no one is watching you. There's no applause, there are no likes, there are no comments telling you how great you're doing. It's just you, your craft, and the quiet echo of your own effort. If you cannot learn to operate in the silence, you will never build anything that lasts.
Section 1. Why most fail. Okay, let's dive into this. To understand the root cause of failure, we have to look at the psychology of quitting. Look, we live in a world that is fundamentally addicted to fast results. We want fast money, rapid growth, instant weight loss, and immediate recognition for our efforts. We basically want the microwave version of greatness. But the reality of slow time, the deliberate work, is very different. True mastery takes real, uninterrupted time. You simply cannot hack a decade of experience into a 3-day weekend. The source material highlights this as a critical friction point. Patience is a virtue that most of the modern world has completely lost.
Which leads us to a truly tragic realization. Most fail because they quit too early. Think about how profound that is. The failure usually isn't a lack of capability, a lack of intelligence, or a lack of resources. The failure is simply giving up before the harvest. It's like they plant a seed, they water it for a week, they don't immediately see a tree, so they just throw the pot in the trash. The people who fail are so often just 3 feet from striking gold, but the silence and the slowness break their spirit before they can break through. Section 2. The real price of success. You cannot get something for nothing. There is a severe cost of admission. Let's walk through these costs methodically, because the source material doesn't sugarcoat this at all. Sleepless nights, lying awake agonizing over a problem you can't quite solve yet. Sacrifice, saying no to things you genuinely want to do today for something you want to be tomorrow. Discipline, loneliness, and man, this is a big one. As you level up, fewer people will understand your obsession. The room gets very small. And finally, rejection. You will be told no, you will fail publicly, and you will be doubted. Most people are simply not willing to pay this heavy invoice. They look at this list and say, no thanks, I'll stay right where I am.
Section 3. Discipline over motivation. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is how it redefines execution.
This requires a massive shift in focus.
This definition right here is the ultimate separator between the average and the extraordinary. Discipline, doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Listen to me carefully on this. Motivation is a liar. Motivation will always eventually disappear. It is an emotion, and emotions change like the weather. If you only work on your goals when you feel inspired, you will never achieve them. Successful people don't wake up every day feeling like conquering the world. They just do the work anyway. That is the discipline. It's an ironclad contract you sign with yourself that cannot be broken by a bad mood.
Section 4, the turning point.
Every successful person eventually faces a crucible. It comes down to this definitive, unshakable declaration: I will not quit. This isn't just some cheesy motivational poster slogan. It is an emotional climax in your personal journey. This choice is made when things are absolutely not working. It's made when your bank account is empty, when the project totally failed, when your muscles are screaming, and when every logical voice in your head is begging you to just give up and go back to safety. Staring into that abyss and deciding, I will not quit, changes the trajectory of your entire life.
Because at that turning point, you are required to demonstrate sheer willpower. You are believing when nobody else does. There is zero external validation. There is no visible growth. Your friends might think you're crazy. Your family might beg you to get a normal job. To keep pushing forward when the evidence of success is entirely invisible requires a profound, borderline unreasonable level of self-belief. You have to see the empire in your mind long before a single brick has been laid in reality.
Section 5, the big realization. So, the crucial point is,
Once you cross that threshold, the fog finally clears. Following this timeline to victory, day 1 is easy, right? That's pure motivation. Everyone is excited on day 1. But moving into month 3, you hit the graveyard of invisible progress. This is where most people quit because they just don't see the results. If you survive that, you hit year 1, refusing to quit, powered purely by discipline and sheer stubbornness. And then, as you continue compounding those days, you reach year 5, true success. It shows how enduring those lonely, invisible phases eventually, mathematically, compounds into victory. You realize that the formula was never complicated to begin with. It was simply this: small actions, repeated daily. That's the whole shebang. It wasn't magic, it wasn't a secret society, it was just waking up and laying one brick perfectly, every single day, for years. It's drinking the water, making the sales calls, writing the pages, hitting the gym. Small, manageable, incredibly boring actions repeated with relentless consistency. Ultimately, keep this idea burned into your mind. There is a massive difference between the energetic beginner who starts strong and the relentless finisher who never stops. The world is full of brilliant starters. People start diets, businesses, and books every single Monday. But the people who actually win in life, they aren't the ones who had the most enthusiastic start. They are the ones who simply refuse to stop walking.
The silent architecture of success is built by those who embrace the silence, pay the price of admission, and rely on absolute discipline over fleeting motivation. So I'm leaving you with a final challenge derived straight from our source material today. If you are truly ready to stop relying on luck, to build unshakable discipline, and to fundamentally change your life, will you take action right now? Subscribe to GSK Daily Motivation, because the next explainer we put out might just be the exact mindset shift you need to finally win. Don't let the silence break you. Let it build you.